Welcome to the Join the Dots summary. So the other week we looked at expansion in not just our counselling practice, but also in our lives and how these two things are kind of connected. So a kind of an internal expansion into potential, but also an external professional expansion. What are the edges? Where can you grow into on both fronts? And with the group, we explored different aspects of what that meant, and used a system. It's called Ikigai, and Ikigai is actually an island in Japan where the oldest and happiest people on the planet live. Sounds good. I think we should go and move there. But the closest thing we can get to that is if we look at this model called Ikigai, then it's questioning, what is it we love? What is it we're good at? What is it that we can make money from? And what is it that the world needs? And so those four perspectives, they coincide. And that's your Ikigai. It's your purpose, or your métier, as the French would say. It's where all those things come together when you know that you're doing what you're here to do. And that really, really speaks to my heart, really resonates with me. And a lot of people who go down a therapeutic route, they've been through some of that process, work out what it is. Oh, what is it that what's my calling? And so, digging into, and then we took it in the ways that happens within the Join the Dot groups, which is wherever it needs to go. And what was interesting was, it was quite a lot about money, because what we get paid for and what we think we might get paid for and how much we can get paid, and then how that links to our support, our resource, the depth of work, because we get paid more, we can resource ourselves more. And so it's a useful kind of balancing point that goes, actually, I need to charge this much because I need to get these resources in order to really show up in the counselling room. So we explored Ikigai for the individuals in the group. I'm just reminding myself because it's been 2 weeks since the group now, or just under, so I'm needing to kind of check what we covered. We explored therapy and coaching. What is the difference? What's the overlap? And for me, because I started off in a motivational interviewing at the beginning of my career, there was always this element of kind of like what can be termed as coaching. It could also be solution-focused therapy techniques. It could be CBT. Actually, a lot of modern therapy does have different aspects of like, okay, how do we get somewhere with this? And, people pay a lot of money for your services. They pay a lot of money for therapy. I think it's a really important question. What do you want to get out of it? How will you know when you've got it? And it also focuses people's work. And to me, that's a really important edge. And over the years, the way I've described that is that you need to be reaching forward for something, because that's when you get snagged, the things that are holding you back. Whereas if you're just central, you don't know those things are snagging you. And sometimes people come to therapy because they're being snagged, because they're trying to move forward in their relationship or in their career, and something is stopping them. Other times people are a bit lost in the middle ground. And so that's where I'd go, right, well, what do you want? A great existential question. Where do you want to be in 3 years' time? Where do you want to be in 10 years' time? Do you still want to be in that relationship? You still want to be in that job in 2034? It's a good kind of like wake up kind of question. And then you move into, well, what is it then? What job do you want to be in? What do you want your life to look like? Interesting enough, if you're thinking of coming to the next Join the Dots, then imagination is what we're going to focus on. So how do we utilize, what is it? What can you imagine? What can you vision? What can you dream for where to go to? We also looked at that kind of the more masculine. How do you what is the goal, and then on the other side, what emerges, and how do we get a balance between those? Because if we're going to expand, if we expand too much on one level, then we forget about the other, and it gets pushed into shadow, and that's something we had to watch out for. Then in the afternoon, as usual, we looked into supervision and looked at how do we get space around our client work so that we can be resourced in a spiritual way, resourced in an emotional way, in a relational way. And again, money came into play there. It's like, are we charging enough to be able to get the space that we need? How do you come back into therapy if you've taken a break? What skills do you need? And that really brought up this thing about the risk of therapy. And, I'm a bit scared, I don't know what to do. And how that's good, because that's an edge. And when you bring that edge in, you're stretching yourself, and the parallel process of also stretching your clients happen. So if you're willing to go that extra mile into your own process, it'll make it easier for you to go that extra mile with your client's process. So making that space for, how do you really nurture yourself? How do you really nurture your clients so that expansion can happen in a safe, emergent, healthy way? Because you stretch too far, there's an obvious place. You're boing, you bounce back, or there's a shame hangover because you've been seen too soon. So the exploration of expansion is like, okay, where's that edge for you where you open up that bit more? Not too much, but also not too little. So that's the summary. Also reminded me that I'm going to do my summaries the day after doing the Join the Dots group. I think it's probably a good idea. But I'm still glad to be able to share bits of you on that. And feel free to, pop me any questions on that too. And I'll send out a link or a worksheet for the Ikigai, so you can have a look at that yourself. So thanks very much. And as I said, yes, the next group is in a couple of weeks. It'll be on the newsletter, and we'll be looking at imagination. Thank you.